Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
Brian almost missed the button to kick this music.
I saw him search.
See that?
Like,
It was like,
I was
almost
going
missed
for
it.
the wrong one, and then
He
I
almost
remembered
missed it.
last
I
second.
saw that. I was like, ooh.
There's so many buttons.
We're here this week. We're going to talk about a movie that came out on June 10th, 1983. Octopussy, rated PG, running time of 2 hours and 11 minutes.
oh,
Yeah, we're definitely going to get a strike on that one.
just hearing the gun and everything like that.
This is the coolest part of this podcast and this movie, by the way.
I always thought when I was a kid that was someone's eye following him around, but it's actually the gun barrel. Like I never understood why
Barrel the gun,
the
yeah.
blood was going down the gun barrel. I thought like he shot him in the head or something like that. But I remember being in my like 20s or 30s and realizing like, oh, that's a gun. That's not an eye. I'm like, okay.
It's directed by John Glenn. He's still alive. Not that one. It's one N.
Oh,
It's not
guy
the
that
other
went to
Glenn.
space?
Yeah.
One N in John or one N in Glenn?
One N
Yes.
in Glenn.
And John.
Oh,
Top four is License to Kill, Living Daylights, For Your Eyes Only,
Oh.
and Octopussy.
Like all directed?
Yeah,
Like
he directed all four of those.
I didn't know they had like a consistent director and stuff like that. I never knew that. I thought it was kind of an ad hoc.
But isn't like
one at
is
a
Living
time.
Daylights? Was that?
I think that's either Pierce Brosnan or
it's
Timothy
Pierce
Dalton.
Brosnan, Timothy Dalton.
As much of a James Bond fan as I am, as you'll find out as we go through this, I've never seen a Timothy Dalton.
Are you
or-
a big James Bond fan? Because
Yeah.
I don't remember you being.
I've never seen a Timothy Dalton or Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie, so we'll go from there.
The description for this is a fake Fabergé egg and a fellow agent's death. 009, spoiler alert, led James Bond to uncover an international jewel smuggling operation headed by the mysterious Octopussy, being used to disguise a nuclear attack on NATO forces. James Bond's next mission sends him to the circus. A British agent was murdered and found holding onto a priceless Fabergé egg. Kamal Khan buys the egg at an auction, but Bond becomes suspicious when Khan meets up with Russian General Orlov. Bond soon finds out that Khan's and Orlov's plan is to blow up a nuclear device on a U.S. Air Force base. Bond teams up with a circus group, which are headed by the beautiful Octopussy, who is also a close friend of who? Kamal Khan.
Yeah, in brownface, I guess.
The tagline for this movie: nobody does it better 13 times.
Nobody does it.
It's the 13th James Bond movie.
really? This was the 13th
This
one?
was the 13th one.
I mean, this is. I think a View to a Kill is the only one after this that Roger Moore did. So there's probably like 5 or 6 before this of him.
Damn.
And then
I thought I saw a lot of them.
Sean
but
Connery did like 6 or 7.
I guess I only saw Moonraker in this one.
Really? Total ever.
Yeah.
I've only seen
So-
like one other.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen like I've seen every Roger Moore and Sean Connery ones multiple times.
What's the one with Grace Jones and
That is A View to a
Christopher
Kill.
Walken? Okay, I saw that one.
I saw
and
that.
Tanya Roberts.
That's
Tanya Roberts.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
View to Kill. That was another one that was on HBO.
And
all
that's,
the
of
time.
course, Duran Duran with the theme song and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which I find a lot better than Rita Coolidge, but that's okay. That's
I agree, but
that's a personal preference.
Cast for this one kicked off with James Bond, played by Roger Moore. He died in 2017 at age 89. He had lung and liver cancer.
Ugh.
He's who I think of when I think of James Bond.
You know what? Logan asked me yesterday because he came in and I was watching. He's like, "Who's your James Bond?" I'm like, "It's Roger Moore," because I saw these movies in the theater.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Sean Connery movies in the theater. So like I saw View to a Kill, I saw Octopussy, I saw Moonraker in the theater. So when I think of James Bond, it's Roger Moore.
Yeah.
So
I think it Roger Moore as well because of Cannonball Run, which wasn't in his top 4.
because wasn't he playing like a version of James Bond in that? He had like the Aston Martin and
He
everything
was
like that.
something
And
gold farb. But
Do you want
it
to
was
guess
really-
his top 4?
Is Cannonball Run in it?
No, it's not in it.
Is all the rest James Bond?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's Moonraker, Live and Let Die,
Mm-mm.
Spy Who Loved Me,
Live and Let Die is in there. Yes, I'm sorry. Spy Who Loved Me. Yes.
and
One he said earlier.
View to a Kill.
Did you say it? Moonraker?
Oh, I said Moonraker.
You said Moonraker.
Well, Brian
Moonraker,
said
The
first.
Spy Who Loved Me, and The Man with the Golden Gun. That's
Man
one
with
you
Golden
forgot.
Gun.
Yeah.
Awesome one. That's one of my favorite James Bond movies.
I don't
ever.
think I've seen
That's
that
with
one.
Christopher Lee.
Should
as
I
the
check
bad
that one
guy.
out then?
Yeah, Christopher Lee
That's from
and
74.
what's his face? Is the fucking Tattoo is in it.
Hervé
Village.
Village?
He's his like bright. He's
the
Christopher.
henchman?
I'll watch-
He's Christopher
I'll watch-
Lee's. Yeah, he's Christopher
gonna
Lee's
watch that
henchman. Yeah, and you know who else is in it? Maud Adams. She played another Bond girl in that. She wasn't Octopussy. She played a different pussy or a different girl. Sorry.
Whoopsie daisy.
I actually
don't
looked-
edit that. Can you isolate that?
Well, I looked it up today actually because I was interested in wondering why Octopussy, who you don't really learn her real name, why her father
I have it.
would have
want
nicknamed
it?
her. Oh, her real name?
Yeah.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know they said it. What is it?
Octavia Charlotte Smythe.
Okay. I was wondering why her father would name her
Octopussy.
Octopussy.
I thought the same.
And I was like, was that not a curse word or not a curse word, but like pussy was not a bad name
That was definitely a bad name.
in like the 1600s. It was a
What's the
name for
second
that.
to last? Read that second to last line that I have in my notes. Read that out loud.
Octopussy is a strange nickname for a dad to give his daughter.
Yeah, right. So in the 1600s, it was already it was really a name for a woman. But by the 1900s, it was definitely the name of a pussy. Like, so this dad naming her pussy, that's like Jason naming his daughter cunt, which, he did.
Cunt,
Well, I named the
cunt,
girls
cunt.
labia majora and
but I
labia
did name
minor.
but I did name my son Mike.
There you go.
There you go. Unless he's doxxed, you have to cut that out. But
Oh,
I went to school.
That's a
with
good joke.
When I went to school,
was
there was
it?
a kid a few years older than me,
Oops.
Mike Hunt.
What the hell is going on?
I was looking for the rim shop, but I was on the wrong.
Yeah,
thing.
you were.
Rim job, maybe.
Speaking of Maud Adams, she played Octopussy, and I just gave the real name. But you want to try her top
Octavius
four?
Man. Well, I really only know Man with the Golden Gun is something else.
And
that she did.
Octopussy,
Yeah.
and then the others are Rollerball
Oh, okay.
and Tattoo.
Tattoo. She was doing him. No, sorry.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Louis Jordan, he was Kamal Khan.
In Brownface, we have already seen him.
Yeah.
He was in Swamp Thing.
Yes, he was.
I think
He
we
was
talked
bad
about
in
him
that,
being an
too.
octo. I think we talked about him being an Octopussy
Yeah.
during Swamp
We
Thing.
did. He died in 2015, age 93, from natural causes.
Fell down the
But
stairs.
Octopussy is the only one that made his top four. The others were Gigi, Letter from an Unknown Woman, and The Paradigm Case.
And was he a Brit? I guess like
I think
playing Brownface.
I think he might have.
Indian?
Yeah, he wasn't. He definitely wasn't Indian.
he was definitely not Indian.
Well, he was supposed to be an Afghan prince, wasn't he?
Oh, okay. But he's still in Brownface.
With
Is Kamal Khan Afghani and not Indian? I guess it is. Khan's
with
probably
trick dice.
with trick dice.
Loaded. Yeah, that was terrible.
And you know how hard you have to squeeze dice together to make them crush like that? You can't do it. It's an impossibility. You can't crush dice.
They
like
might have
that.
been like
You'd have to have a vice to do that.
they might have been prop dice or something like that.
That's probably why, because they were fake. So that's probably why he could do it.
And maybe he wanted dice that he could crush in his hand if anybody catches me cheating.
Yeah.
Be able to crush them in your hand.
Yep. Then like, what dice are you talking about? Did I give his top? Yeah. All right. So Christina Wayborn, she played Magda.
She was pretty hot.
She had
I thought
a
so too,
giant
yeah.
forehead, though.
She had a 5 head.
That was a
She
5
did,
head,
yeah,
yeah.
she did.
And did you notice that when she talked, the words that were on this,
Was she dubbed?
saying, she had to have been because she's
Yeah.
talking and none of the words match what's being said.
It did look like she was dubbed. I also question. So when we meet Octopussy, maybe we're getting too far ahead of ourselves, but I'm bringing it up now. She says that all the girls that work there she's found all over the Southeast Asia and stuff like that. I'm like, they were all white girls. I'm like, where is she finding all these white girls in Southeast Asia?
I'll just get her top four
Yeah,
as well.
I-
Octopussy, The Silent Lovers, Forbidden Warrior, but you may know this TV show, Airwolf.
Oh, okay. The ripoff of Blue Thunder with Ernest Borgnine, I
Ernest
believe,
Borgnine
right?
was in that.
Yes,
right?
he was. Yeah. Stephen Burkoff, he played Orlov.
Okay,
General
we've
Orlov,
already
yep.
seen him too in our podcast.
Oh,
He was in
His
shit.
top four is all.
I mean, he's in Beverly Hills Cop for sure. He's like the main bad guy in that. But he was in A Clockwork Orange. He was one of the cops in A Clockwork
He
Orange.
was Detective Tom.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I wanted to let you work that one out. But Octopussy, Clockwork Orange is in his top four. Victor Maitland is who he played in Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
And he was also in The Tourist.
Okay.
That rounds
He was
out
the
his
main
top
bad
four.
guy in Beverly Hills Cop. Jonathan Banks was his henchman.
I don't
when he had
remember
hair.
Beverly Hills Cop. Are we going to do that
Very
soon?
good movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
soon.
85.
Yeah. It's a very good movie, Beverly Hills Cop, from what I remember.
I know I saw it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Q, played by Desmond Llewellyn.
Was he 150 in this movie?
He lived to be 85. He died in 1999 from a road accident.
So he was only like, wait, he died how old?
85 and 99.
So he's only like 72 in this? God damn, dude. He looks so old and feeble. Holy crap. That's crazy that he was only in his early 70s in this because he looks really old.
He does.
His top four is all
Wait, so he died in 99?
is
he like 68?
James Bond.
Oh, yeah. Did he do anything else? I mean,
He
who
did have
knows?
other things, but
You said he died in a road accident.
Yeah.
So that sucks. Well, that's because he was 80-something-year-old man driving.
GoldenEye, Octopussy, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Tomorrow Never Dies.
Wow, so he crossed over into like the Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan.
The last one I did from the cast was Robert Brown. He played M.
Okay.
He died in 2003, 82, undisclosed causes. Top four, again, all
And again, so he died in 20 years after this movie was made at 83. So he's 63 in this movie, and he looks like he's 102 also. Did people just age differently back then?
A View to a Kill, Octopussy, License to Kill, and The Living Daylight.
So he also crossed over. Like, I remember when John Cleese became Q at some point. I never saw those ones. I think it was the Pierce Brosnan ones, but John Cleese was Q. But they just, I guess, because Moneypenny, I think, stays the same throughout. Sean Connery and then Roger Moore.
You had a couple people you wanted to talk about from the cast.
I do. But I just want to say when Daniel Craig took over, they like recast everybody because Judi Dench became M, and
They had to make M a woman.
they did. But she was good, man.
She's
was really
good, yeah.
So the general at the end, the American general at the circus, who's like kind of being goofy at first, but then gets his shit together and says, let him do his job.
With 4 seconds left on the bomb.
Yeah. Luckily, all he had to do was like twist it and pull it out. Because if it was a lethal weapon
Because you
movie,
saw there's two things popped out when it hit zero. Yeah.
if it was a lethal weapon movie, they would have had 15 minutes and they would have been arguing for 15 minutes over
which
do I
wire?
cut the green? Do I cut the red? Do I cut the black? So it was really good that all he had to do was twist it. So the general there, he was in Empire Strikes Back. He was the rebel general on Hoth. General, I think it's pronounced Riken, but he was the one that told like Han Solo, and Han Solo's like, I got to get out of here. I got a price on my head. And he's like, I hate to lose you, Solo. You're a good soldier. So he was in,
remember that guy.
He was in
Yeah,
Empire
me
Strikes
too.
Back. And then, when Q finally makes it to India and is like bitching about the conditions of, he's like, I don't even have a proper lab here and stuff like that. And he's like, Smithers, come over here. And Smithers comes over there and he's like, what do you need, sir? Or whatever he says. Smithers is Jeremy Bullock, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back, the original Boba Fett, the real Boba Fett. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. He was
Name spelled wrong.
spelled wrong in the credits, yeah, for whatever. Balak instead of Bollock with an H, but Bollock with a K. And
Isn't Bollock's balls?
possibly, yes. Yeah, so Boba Fett and General Riken were in this, two Empire Strikes Back alum. Well, yeah, Empire Strikes Back had already come out, so this was post-Empire, but pre-Jedi maybe.
That was all filmed in Britain anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover between Star Wars movies and James Bond movies because of that, because they're all filming in London. Yeah, I thought that was cool. I like finding like that kind of shit.
This was the last Bond movie to reveal the name of the next Bond movie during the end credits.
Oh, they did. They said
Yeah.
A View to a Kill. That's kind of cool. I didn't know they did that. I guess I didn't watch the credits. I think I turned it off as soon as the movie ended.
This was also released.
post-credit.
I didn't watch the credits.
Are we not doing that? It said released in the same year as the rival Warner Brothers James Bond production Never Say Never Again. Are we doing that?
Yeah. I mean, it's on the list.
It's on our
We don't
list.
have
I couldn't remember if
but
it
it's
was on our
later.
list,
It's
yeah.
like later in the year.
Who does that?
Well,
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery's James Bond in that. Not to like get in the weeds, but like for some reason, like Ian Fleming, the guy that wrote all the James Bond books,
Sir Ian Fleming.
Sir Ian Fleming, he wrote a screenplay with another guy on a movie called Thunderball. They were producing it for TV. I think they decided to just make it into a movie. So that guy got screen credit for it. And then somehow lawsuits and whatever, that dude owned the rights to that specific James Bond story. So Never Say Never Again is just a remake of Thunderball, but it's just with a 20-year-older James Bond. But it was fun. I don't know. what's her name is in there? Kim Basinger. She's in that. But yeah, that came out the same year.
I definitely didn't see
It's
that.
the only what's his guy's name? Is it Albert Broccoli, the guy that produces all these James Bond movies? It's so funny seeing a Broccoli picture. You're like, but he didn't produce Never Say Never Again. It was a different company.
The blue ringed octopus that's in this it's actually very highly venomous.
Really?
It produces tetrodotoxin, which is uses in self-defense. That's also found in puffer fish.
Interesting.
1 milligram of the toxin can kill a person, and there is no known antidote.
Oh, no. Now,
it's the most common octopus pet too. Like if you order an
I guess
octopus or get an
people
octopus,
don't really
it's normally
pet their
a blue-ringed
octopuses, right?
Yeah, that's not. You don't see that in many fish tanks.
Now, when it's knocked out of a fish tank and it sucks on your face, like how long can it live sucking on a human face like it was doing in this?
Well, I know
movie?
I've seen octopus get on boats. And like I seen a octopus come on a boat, and it had like a grayish color to it, and it turned white to match the boat.
Oh, camouflage.
Yeah, and then it swiggled back into the water. But it was cool that it came onto the boat and was like up there.
They're very
changed
smart.
color, and
They're tasty too, and it almost makes me feel bad about eating them. But
I don't eat them.
I'm higher up on this food chain.
I just
so
eat
fuck
the
you.
babies.
Yeah, it's all good. Shit, what was I going to say? Something about the octopus. Oh, yeah, they showed it like 4 times. Her feeding it. It was just sitting there. Like, it's not like it's a piranha or a shark and it goes snapping at the food. She's just like sprinkling food in there, and you just see the food kind of going down to the bottom of the tank. And the octopus is just sitting there. It wasn't opening its mouth going, nom, 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 nom.
But that definitely wasn't octopus food. It was like freshwater fish flakes.
But it was just so funny how I'm like, what are they going for? They keep showing the food go down. The octopus is sitting there, and okay, what's it going to do? Nothing. It didn't do anything. It just sat there. Thank you for feeding me.
Christina Wayborn broke a few toes while shooting at the Monsoon Palace for the circus when they did Octopussy Circus.
Oh, it wasn't when was that the hot blonde girl that slept with James Bond? Was it when she like jumped out of the window and rappelled down with her scarves? Because that was fucking cool. Like I was like, can you do that? Can you wrap scarves around you, tie it to something, and then rappel down?
And she looked great.
Let's talk about the opposite of what Andy just said, something being cool, because there was a lot of
Please rip on this movie.
there was a lot of uncool stuff in this movie. The alligator crocodile costume, the gorilla suit.
That was a hideous gorilla suit.
That was worse than the one Jim Belushi wore.
It was worse than the one that the guy wore in The Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Yeah.
I love that movie, by the way.
I don't know if that gorilla suit was supposed to be lifelike, though. I don't know, but you're right.
No,
it was terrible.
Not so much that it being lifelike, how he got out of it that fast and climbed up to be getting out of the train that fast.
Well,
ridiculous.
If he hadn't, he would have been decapitated. Because
I know, but I'm just saying it should have been more realistic escape. Is all I wanted. There was too much of stuff going exactly his way. It's like probably how the John Wick movies are. Everything goes the way. I'll talk about nothing. Everything went Bob Odenkirk's way in that. You know what I mean? He's just beating the shit out of everybody. And just,
you could say the same thing. Like stormtroopers have pretty good aim until they're aiming it at like Luke and Han.
That's another thing. Everybody that shot at this guy, they were I asked Andy if they hired stormtroopers.
I think they had plot armor on. They couldn't be shot, or James Bond couldn't be shot.
Well, and he had got perfect forehead shots on everybody except for the people that he had to kill.
The best headshot of all was the Russian guy that opened the back of the caboose, and he shot him right in the forehead. And the guy was just like, "Oh!" Do you make that face when you get shot in the head? Like, "Oh!"
I think so.
Interesting thing I looked up, commercial airliners and other modern airplanes typically run on a type of kerosene-based unleaded fuel. It may have a lower octane rating than leaded fuel, because I was curious if you could just use regular gas.
Well, I wrote in my notes, does that jet take unleaded when he pulled up to the...
I have that. Look, it's my first thing. Do jets use unleaded fuel? Okay. I looked it up, though. They can use it.
I have, do jets take unleaded? I also was wondering... I actually called you out in my notes. I wanted to remember to ask Brian if heat-seeking missiles actually work in that way, where it just kept following him around and around. I figured you
can't do 180-degree turns.
You're in the business of heat-seeking missiles, so I figured you would know better than most.
I was going to ask Brian about stuffed sheep's head, because that's your favorite dish, right?
The eyes.
Which were obviously like eggs or something like that. They were not.
He was eavesdropping as he was scaling the outside of the building.
He was. Yes, he
dropping
was.
some eaves.
Dropping some eaves.
I didn't like how one of the shots in the beginning when he was flying the
snake
plane.
across the leg too. That was another thing that bothered me.
He was flying the plane, but you could obviously see through the cab that the plane was on the ground, and they're like someone's shaking it.
Well, there were times where he was like on a 90-degree angle, so that would have meant like the window would have shown sky, and you saw the mountains. I was like, well, wait a minute now. You saw him turn, you saw him go all the way this way, and then showing it out that window, and it's sky. Or it's mountains. What's happening?
What about
You can't have it both ways.
when he gets into the jungle and he turns into Tarzan?
That was insanely stupid. That was the stupidest thing in the whole movie, because he became Shia LaBeouf in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I actually wanted to bring up. Like, there are so many like little James Bond, Indiana Jones similarities in this movie, and in the wrong way. Like, Spielberg and Lucas took stuff specifically from this movie and put them into their movies, because you have that stupid thing.
Yeah.
You had the sheep's head, which obviously was just like the monkey brain scene in Temple of Doom, and damn, there was something else that just like felt so
The giant rock rolling.
And Lucas and Spielberg had always said they were making their own version of James Bond, but they were taking shit out of this movie and putting it into like other things. If you want to rip off James Bond, rip off like
All of
Dr. No and Russia with Love, like the early ones, not the cheesy Roger Moore ones.
What did you think of the leeches in the?
Oh yeah. Well, I always think of Stand By Me when I think of.
I think that's exactly what I was going to say. Stand By Me.
I was like, is he going to check his schwanz and make sure there's no leeches on that, like Will Wheaton had?
And he just reached down there and he pulls his bloody hand
Oh
out.
my God! I almost fainted watching that movie the first time.
When I was a kid, we had a camper over at Timberland Lakes down by Great Adventure,
Yeah.
and we were on the lake, and we would go swimming.
Prospertown Lake?
Yeah, right by Prospertown. It's part of the same network of lakes, but it had leeches all in it.
I used to go to Prospertown Lake all the time when I was a kid. Yeah.
Did you get leeches?
Never had leeches.
They were all in the other, like the campground lake, because we would go in and then we'd have to come off, and my mom would have to pull the leeches off.
Get
of
the
us.
fuck out of here, man!
Like, you had a lot of leeches all over your body? Like,
Oh
all
yeah,
over you?
I probably had 20 leeches on me in my life. And all of them.
You went back in there then after that?
Yeah, because it was swimming.
Weren't you afraid of it getting on like your privates and stuff? I don't know, man. It's just.
Didn't any of your friends have a pool, man?
Yeah, the Morrows had a pool.
Then why would you go in a lake that had fucking leeches in it, man? That is troubling that you would go back in.
Not only that, but like I would dig at the edge of our campsite was right on the water, and I would dig and I would collect all the baby snapping turtles. It's amazing.
And
I
then
didn't lose
murder
a
them?
finger.
Just murder them, just like
Throw them in the
dump
fire.
sand on them.
I can't believe you had leeches on you, then.
Oh yeah.
Getting leeches is one thing. Then going back in and getting more.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
I thought it was funny at the very beginning of this movie when they're at that whatever base, like when James Bond was pretending to be Taco, whatever the hell he was supposed to be. The dude that looked just like Castro, except he was like 7 feet tall. He had the beard. He was smoking the cigar. I was like, Castro's like 5 feet tall, and this guy's like towering over everybody else. And I was like, is that Castro? Is it supposed to look like Castro? But it was just so funny how they were going for that Castro look with, I guess maybe that was supposed to be Cuba. I don't know.
This was the first James Bond movie to be released with the MGM Lion logo at the beginning. MGM merged with United Artists in 1982, the year before the release of this movie. And this is the first Bond movie distributed by the new company, MGM UA Distribution Company Incorporated.
Wow.
Also, Rutger Hauer was asked to play Orlov. General Orlov.
I'm glad you bring up MGM, because I was saying to you earlier when we were talking about this last week, you're like, it's on HBO. I'm like, well, it's also on Amazon Prime, because Amazon bought MGM. They paid
Next week it's going to be called Max.
Oh, HBO is going to be called Max. Is it making that change?
Yeah, yeah, I'm canceling.
I don't understand why they think the branding of Max is better than HBO.
Why?
I hate everything they're doing.
But why is Max a better name?
I watch too many shows on there. I can't.
HBO has such name recognition. Max has zero name recognition.
It makes you think of Cinemax.
Just go with HBO. Yeah. Max is a terrible name for that, but whatever. But Amazon bought.
I'm not dropping it.
I'm not going to drop it, but it's a terrible name. That's true. I don't pay for it. I use my son's. MGM was bought by Amazon for $8.5 million, and like during COVID, I started watching the James Bond movies again because I'm like, oh, they're free on Amazon. So when Octopussy came on, I was like, oh, I'll just watch it on Amazon because I know it's there. So I found it to buy or rent. I'm like, well, why the fuck would I pay for it? Like, it should be free here. So I went and got it on HBO and didn't think about it. Then halfway through the movie, I'm like, this is bothering me. Why is it not on Amazon? So I looked it up. They own it, but they're also trying to start a new streaming service, MGM Plus, to put shit on there that you have to pay for to watch.
That's something he dropped.
Now
Yeah, I'm
is
not getting
fucked up, man. That Amazon Prime has their own video service, and now they're going to start a second video service that you're going to have to pay money for because they realize no one's actually buying.
Why
Amazon.
is it on HBO Max though? Still,
I guess they have some kind of rights or something like
maybe
that.
they had it
like,
before, and that's why
They licensed it to him or something.
But I find that insane that now they're going to try to start a second streaming service because they probably realize no one's paying for Amazon Prime for the movies. They're paying for, or they want free shipping or whatever. So they're going to try to start another streaming service that people are going to have to pay for. Man, that is
greedy.
That is terrible, especially in this day and age when like all these streaming services are just trying to stay afloat.
But
like,
now, right now, too, like Jeff Bezos, if you make another billion, does that make? It doesn't do anything, right?
I'm sure he has nothing.
Did you see
I'm
his
sure
new
he's
yacht?
I'm sure he's just.
He has a
like,
yacht.
whatever.
It cost $500 million.
And didn't he have to give his wife like $40 billion or something like that? Just
I
to
think
get
he gave
rid
her
of
more
her?
than that. When he got divorced, she became like the second richest woman in the world.
And all for doing what? Sucking his dick? Like, I'm sure she hasn't done that in like 40 years. Damn, man. Women have it easy, man. It's so fucking easy. Do they have kids? I don't even know. I don't
know. I'm not sure. But I thought this was interesting. While traveling on a plane between England and India in August of '82, the production designer Peter Lamont was on a plane that got hijacked.
Oh,
That's
really?
scary. Yeah.
Back in the old days, hijacking was just like taking to Cuba or Nicaragua or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But now now it's dangerous. Now you might actually get blowed up. Yeah.
They removed this line from the movie in Finland. General Orlov said it, but tomorrow I shall be the hero of the Soviet Union. They didn't let that be played in Finland.
I wonder why. I mean, Finland wasn't part of the Soviet Union, but they were right on the border with them.
Yeah, they're
I guess
NATO
they were a little
now.
Stuck of them, sick of. I guess they were scared of them. At the back to the beginning where James is on the when he's captured. When
Did you like the octopus shaped bed?
You know what? I don't think I even noticed that. Her bed was an octopus ship bed, huh?
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
Did you notice it?
No.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back and watch it again.
I don't like how Kamal kept calling her so casually Octopussy.
Yeah.
Octopussy. It's like,
Well, I guess that's what she went by. But it was very gray lines between her, him, and the Russian dude who was in charge. Like I was never quite sure what the chain of command was there.
it seemed like she was higher than him.
But he seemed like
kept reporting to her.
Khan seemed like he was the money.
yeah, he was working for her or trying to get her the money, but the Russian guy was trying to get.
Let's speak of that money too. That stopped a blade from going into his chest.
That's right. He said hard cash. That's what it.
And then easy come, easy go, and he threw it out to get all the people running into the street to make it a.
And then when he gave it
blockade.
to the other guy,
Keep you in curry for a few weeks, will it?
keep you in
He
curry
did
for
say
a
keep
few
you in
weeks.
curry for a few weeks.
That's
He
awesome.
laughed at it too. He's
the the casual racism in this movie is amazing. Like the one scene at the bazaar where you had a sword swallower, a snake charmer, a guy lying on the bed of nails.
that guy went
and
through the nail bed.
Yeah.
When he body slammed him onto that.
And then
set.
the what was the other one? You had the the guy juggling the flaming the flaming whatever's the
Flaming Moe's?
Flaming Moe's. But I was like, so you've got a 3-foot area where every single stereotype of India is right there. You're very lucky. And then even Q had the guy on the electric
the rope.
rope going up in the air that broke or whatever.
Having problems keeping it up, Q?
But what practical purpose could that be? What's Q working on that for? The next 00 that has to go out onto the field and pretend he's I don't know, a rope climber upper? My fucking phone keeps locking up. It's making me very
The 200,000 Indian rupees Bond wins from Khan at the backgammon game would equate to $19,800 at that time, which equals $52,000 in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, winning 20 grand is still pretty cool if you win 20 grand.
yeah.
Even back, today if you win 20 grand, but back then, even better. So at the beginning, when James Bond gets captured, when he first gets captured, he gets on the Jeep with the two Russians, Cubans, whatever the hell they are, and the girl drives by to distract them, and he keeps doing the like which was so silly.
That
but
was so
It
ridiculous.
was so ridiculous. But then he gets them both off the Jeep by pulling their parachutes. Why the fuck were they wearing parachutes? They were in a Jeep. Why did that happen?
I thought the same thing. That was ridiculous.
I did say that out. I was by myself and I said that out loud.
And then when they pull up alongside of him, and it just pulls up, and you just see her at first.
Oh my God, the
And then he's like
profile
there.
of her was awesome.
That's probably got an extra 10 points to the
That
score
was
right
that
there
was my
for
favorite
him.
part of the movie.
And I'm sure you love the intro where the girls are just lying there naked, shooting the guns to Rita Coolidge, which I didn't think that song worked in a James Bond movie. It's not a bad song, but
I got that.
Barbara
Yeah.
Broccoli and Albert Broccoli.
Albert Broccoli.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Barbara.
Oh, jeez.
That's like music that you hear that you're supposed to automatically think, oh, they're having sex, right?
Totally.
Just-
Sexy music.
and then
The
like,
sax
bow, chicka, bow, bow.
is she? I don't know her at all. What else does she do besides this song? Does she have like?
Who, Rita Coolidge?
Yeah, you're a music guy. Like, what does she do?
She's got a few hits, but I don't know them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
like.
not my.
I mean, you're talking in
a.
in an era when like Paul McCartney was doing the intro for "Live and Let Die" and stuff like that, and then she's doing this. I'm like, who's she? Like,
Wasn't her father president?
oh, Calvin Coolidge is her dad? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Huh?
Like some of her songs, "We're All Alone," "I'd Rather Leave," "While I'm in Love," "Higher and Higher," "All Time High."
I've heard of All Time High.
I've
Oh,
heard
wait,
of some of
that's
them.
a-
Yeah,
I've heard of Higher and Higher, but I might be thinking someone else's version.
you know what I'm thinking? Steve Winwood.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of too.
Maybe it was a remake.
Nah, different song.
"Loving Arms," "Fool That I Am," "The Way You Do the Things You Do."
I just wasn't a big fan of that as the theme song to the movie. Maybe the closing credits, it's fine, but you know, they get you so juiced up with that intro scene and
Yeah.
and
Then they don't
then
play
it
it
goes into like a
again, yeah.
low ballad. You're kind of slow ballad. You're like,
Well, let's see what it says here. I got the main title song, "All Time High," sung by Rita Coolidge, made it to the top 40 on the U.S. charts. There it charted on July 2nd, 1983, and went to number 36, but the song went to the number 1 spot on the U.S. Billboard Adult Contemporary charts. A cover version of the song performed by Pulp can be heard on the David Arnold Bond song compilation album, Shaken and Stirred, the David Arnold James Bond project. Pulp once wrote a song for Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997, which was not used for that movie.
Wow.
really interesting. Do you know how hard it is to run in clown shoes? Like that 009 guy was trekking through the woods in the clown shoes. Good for him, man. I mean, he did get killed eventually, but that had to have been very tough.
You know-
Clown shoes are very hard to walk in, let alone run in them.
Fabergé eggs. You don't really hear about them too much anymore, do you?
I don't know what. I mean, I understand they're shit. Sorry. I understand they're very rare, and you know, there's only like 30 of them in existence. But I guess who cares? I don't know. The whole thing. It's like I guess having a rare gem or something like that.
I don't
care about Fabergé eggs. So I don't even know what to say about.
think I'd
them.
rather have a buzzsaw yo-yo.
That was cool. I like that.
But do you have to run around in a loincloth while you're buzzing people's heads off? I don't know. Seems
That's
very
dangerous. Though,
impractical.
it's going to hurt yourself with it too.
oh yeah, when it comes
You know?
flying back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have like a metal glove to catch it in or something like that.
Something,
Like
yeah.
a falconer wears
Even
the
like a
metal
shield, like just
Yeah.
to let it hit it or whatever, you know.
I thought though it was a very impractical weapon because first of all, you have to be above someone to make it worthwhile. You know, he had to be above VJ when he killed him. He had to be above James Bond when he tried to kill him in the bed.
Yep.
So
When the octopus lands on the thug, it completely covers its face and its tentacles wrap around his head. They said it's a humorous nod to the face hugger in Aliens.
okay. But I don't think that thing lived. Well, maybe it lived as long as the facehugger did. 'cause-
Aliens. Oh, that was crazy. Remember when he had it on his face? I love that movie.
Did we do that movie? Did we do the movie?
We did one of the aliens.
We did Alien, right? The original.
We did it for original.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
That was fun, yeah. Aliens is too late. That's like 88, right?
We might get there. If I make it that long. I don't know if I make it that long.
2028.
Yeah, that's 5 more years.
I'm going to follow up to your...
we won't even be 60.
I feel like I'm 70 now.
I have something here, Andy. The movie contains at least 4 veterans of the Star Wars film franchise.
Oh, well,
4.
I said 2. I don't know the other 2.
So the other, here we go. Bruce Boa, General Recan from Star Wars Episode 5, the
him.
episode
That's
Empire
the
Strikes
Hoth
Back.
general.
All
Yep.
right. Richard
Bo was his name? I don't know that.
Richard Le Parmentier, General Mahdi from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, 1977.
Oh, he's the one that Darth Vader strangles in Star Wars. It's like
It says if this is an ambassador ship, then where's the counselor?
No, not that one. He's the one at the Death Star where Tarkin has to
Oh,
tell
we're
him,
at
he's
the
like,
table?
Vader, release him.
Yes,
he's that guy.
That's cool. I like
He's
that.
in this. What's his name in this?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't
don't
see
have
him.
it
I didn't pick up on
Dermot Crowley plays General Madine from Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And then
all right.
Jeremy Bullock, Boba
Wow,
Fett.
all right.
Yeah.
I didn't catch
That's
those
pretty
other,
cool.
I didn't
That
catch
is
those
cool.
other two guys.
They had a chiller that I was just at. One of the Gamorrean guards was there.
Was he dressed up as a Gamorrean?
He was signing the Funko Pops. That might have been a cool thing to get signed. He was only charging 30.
I guess for 30, that's worth it. I mean, like who?
I didn't get it. I thought about it.
Guys in costumes, it's tough, man. Unless you're like
But I
Peter
got
Mayhew or
Boba
something
Fett.
like that. Yeah.
You know, you never see his face.
That's true. Well, now you see it too much, but I know it's a different guy anyway. The guy, the Attack of the Clones guy. And then they took out the original guy's voice and put his voice into Empire.
Oh, really?
He means an awful lot to me.
I would like just a version of the movie with that in it, like all those, and with all of David Prowse's.
Oh, where they called him like Farmer Vader or something like that because he
Yeah.
has like some kind of like backwoods kind of British
He's got the
accent,
Brit-
whatever,
he's got-
whatever
it's like
our
really hackneyed, or
whatever our
something.
Kentucky accent is. Like
Cockney,
he's got
is that what they
that
call it? You know?
Cockney, maybe, yeah. Hello, Obi-Wan. What's all this then, eh? You know what? That would be great. I'd want to see a Star Wars
It
with
said
that.
the reason this movie's title doesn't appear in the song is because nothing rhymed with it.
You can't rhyme pussy with octopussy.
I already got it. Floozy.
Floozy, pussy.
Pussy, koozie.
I thought it was just because they didn't want to have a song with pussy.
I'm a
in it.
little wussy. I'm a wussy.
I don't think they wanted to
Woozy.
have a song called "You're an Octopussy."
They put up an Octopus's Garden.
There you go. There you go.
Gonna use Octopus's Garden.
And yeah.
When
You gotta stop drinking those Korean.
when
man.
Bond first sees VJ there when he's doing the Cobra trick, and he plays the James Bond theme when and Bond says something like, "Oh, I like that tune" or whatever, and then VJ is like, "I'm your man on the inside." He just lets that Cobra go.
I know, he just
in the
lets it go
street.
into the
Like
crowd.
there's children there, and he's just like, "Go eat them, go eat them, buddy." He just lets that Cobra go.
I got a list of all the cars here, but there's so many of them, and
The list of
what's
cars.
like the different vehicles that were in the movie. But it's just like 5 BMWs, Rolls Royce,
Oh, the
Phantom
BMW
3
police cars.
the Alfa Romeo GTV6, a white Volkswagen Beetle, VW Bug.
The only thing I could even remember was
what's
those
funny
little
is-
tiny scooter things they were driving around in India where VJ like put it up on the back wheel and
But it also
Show 'em
has
something.
Q's hot air balloon, a one-person crocodile water vessel.
it's only a one person crocodile. Like what happens if you have a
But
person
you
with
could
you?
probably buy a two-seater.
Can I get a 2-seater, please?
I won't want to be in the back though.
Oh no. What happens if a real crocodile comes around and wants
Frank
to meet
Fin-
with you? And
Do we
all
know
of a
who
sudden
Frank
you're back in-
Finlay is?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, because he auditioned and was considered for Kamal Khan.
No, I don't know him. Kamal Khan. Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a Star Trek bad guy.
I don't have much more.
I got a bunch of nonsense.
Let's hear your nonsense, and then whatever you got.
I got
I got
another sound
nothing.
clip.
Yeah, you got another sound. Let's hear it.
I trust you can handle this contraption, Q.
It goes by hot air.
Oh, then you can.
Those one-liners are terrible. They
You didn't get the one where he said "fill her up."
filler. Oh, at the gas station. So when Bond's escaping, when he's pretending to be one of the dead bodies, the guy's hanging in the cold room there.
Oh, when they drop him, he's like,
which was weird. Like, what are those bodies just hanging there for? That's our dead body storage over there.
And then they just drove outside and,
then they're like,
threw
we
them on
gotta
the
get them
ground.
wrapped up after this, though. So let's just hang them up for a minute, and then we'll go get something to eat. Then we'll come back and we'll put them in there.
So the big dude the henchman guy, I forget his name. Like he never talks at all. And I think maybe he says a couple lines at the end of the movie. But like, was that an elephant gun he was shooting with him? He had that big. The muzzle was like this big. I was like, I've never seen a gun like that before. I've never gone on hunting in India either.
How about when he knocked that guy off the elephant?
Oh, that was
He knocked him up, but then he got right back up on it.
That guy. That was the guy.
That was the same guy, right?
That was the big guy. Yeah.
He undid the belt. Like, how
Right.
did they put the belt back on so quick?
I know, and then he climbed back up on top of it, and he's like
Yeah.
already, and it's like, and then it was just,
And it is
a very
wobbly.
inefficient way
Like
to
they had like
travel.
100 people on high alert for like the one white guy in the area, and he's still able to like just sneak up under the elephant and take the belt off. Like there's 40 guys standing right around that elephant going like,
Can we talk about
do you
his-
think it's that white guy? Nah, it couldn't be that white guy.
All right, I got my next complaint.
Okay.
All right, it's like a two-parter, this one, because it starts off with his horse catching up to a plane.
Oh, yeah. The horse does
The
catch
horse
up to the
catches up to the plane, and then he gets on the plane. And he has
I don't see what your complaint is yet, but
the
keep
ride on
going.
the plane is just ridiculous. Because especially when Kamal Khan kicks the other guy out,
Oh,
it
yeah,
says-
yeah.
and he goes outside,
Outside.
and he actually goes outside. I would have been like, hell no, I'm not
You
going
know,
out
I
there.
think
dude.
that's how Christopher Walken dies in A View to a Kill too. He goes out on he has a blimp, and he
That's right.
at the Golden Gate Bridge he falls off the blimp because he goes outside to get James Bond, but he did it himself. Christopher Walken was the main bad guy, and he died of falling. But yeah, Khan sent out.
I thought that was
henchmen.
ridiculous.
We were talking about the ridiculousness of the whole hunting him thing. He
Or that Ice-T movie where they hunted him.
the most dangerous game or whatever, one of those kinds of movies. But James Bond yelled at a tiger, and the tiger just stopped growling.
Yes,
The
thank you.
The tiger,
Thank you. I forgot that
The
one.
tiger jumps out of the woods or the jungle, whatever, and James Bond goes, "Shut up," or whatever he says, and the tiger just submits. I'm like, is James Bond some kind of like secret lion or tiger tamer? Is that part of the
Are
double O
tigers
training?
afraid of lions, though?
I don't know.
I think a lion. I mean, an elephant. I meant.
Oh,
Are tigers afraid of elephants?
But there were only 3 elephants, and that tiger was still there were 100 people. How did the tiger not maul any of those
Yeah,
people?
maybe tigers
Yeah.
don't go after people. Maybe
I think
it's-
they do.
I'm sure they do, especially if they're hungry. And in India, they're probably hungry.
Yeah, especially it's in the wild already. It's definitely out hunting. You figure.
I noted James Bond's watch because I made such a big deal last week about the Casio that Roy Scheider had. He had a Seiko watch that he was Seiko, whatever. Oh, Seiko's the porn star, right? I think I got that
Seiko
mixed up.
is the porn star,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, I got that.
killed
one.
herself.
I think. Yeah.
That watch was. He had all sorts of stuff going on in that watch.
That was a real watch too, the Sports 100.
Those 80s digital watches are so funny. They're just so there's
such clear video
bunch of
on
things
it.
going around. Like
it was very similar to
Roy
Roy's,
Scheider's. Yeah. But I just made note of it because I had made such a big deal last week about the Casio that I was like, oh, look, another watch front and center. Since I'm not getting any gas prices on any of these movies, I was so disappointed.
There was a gas price.
Was there?
There
At
was.
that gas station where we pulled up?
$1.30.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
yeah.
And I wonder if that's Cuban prices or whatever fictitious Latin
I
American
did
island
see
that was.
in the cold open, Bond looks at his fake name and says that it sounds like a load of bull, and his name was Toro.
Toro.
But then he meets that other guy and he says, "Oh, you're a Toro too."
He says like, because I think he's taken his identity, but I think he says like almost like a Taurus kind of thing, like we're both the same sign or something like that. When James sleeps with the blonde girl, I forget her name, the first Magda, she's got the Octopussy tattoo on her. It was the fakest looking rub-on
Yes.
tattoo. Like they couldn't leave the sponge on the paper for like another minute to make that like actually adhere to the body. I was like, they put that thing on 3 seconds before they started filming this
Christine
scene.
walked in for that, and she made the comment. She was like, "That is a press-on."
It was so
Tattoo.
fake looking. Well, that's in case you don't want to be an Octopussy cult member your entire life. You can just
true.
rub it right off. I mean, Jason's going to take forever to get these fucking things on.
I have octopus on me.
You do?
I have an octopus
Are
tattoo.
you part of the octopus cult?
There.
Is it on your puss? Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
That's why I call Jason Octopussy.
You should put that online.
All right.
I know we've already talked about this, but
Bruce
just
Boa, real quick, the
Bruce
guy
Boa,
that played
General. Yep. General Riken.
He also was in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, I wonder what he was in that. I mean, he would have been too old to be he had to have been like a general in that too, or something
probably
like
somebody
that.
in the background. Yeah.
I just want to put my notes from the whole Tarzan swing. I say Tarzan swing. It's like they took the shittiest parts of this and put it into Indiana Jones movies.
That was so. Because then he go.
Yes.
And I was just like, what? is going
That
on
should
here?
never be done by anybody but Tarzan. Tarzan's the only person that should be able to do that.
Anybody else doing that should be you're playing in the woods and having a fun time in your tent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're a kid
You know
doing
what I
it,
mean?
and you're not actually swinging from vines, you're just pretending
You're
to swing from vines.
I mean, yeah, you're playing. Yeah.
They don't mention the word Octopussy until 45 minutes into this movie.
Nice.
And they don't show her they show her back at like 48 minutes, but they don't show her front, her face, Madame's face, or maybe she doesn't talk until like an hour, 1 minute in.
Yeah, like halfway through.
Yeah. Like she's the name of the movie. It's weird that you don't show your main villain, although
Right, yeah.
of course she's not actually the main villain. She's just the side pussy, I guess. But like,
She's a side octopussy.
is that the size or the amount, the number of pussies?
She can fit 8 dicks into her.
That's what I say inside. Is that the gauge of that pussy?
Is that how Octomom got pregnant?
Octomom. I said he gets
In
the
her octopussy?
he gets the pussy
She's a
palace
porn
halfway
star
through.
now.
Oh, yeah.
She did do porn, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she did.
I said who did?
Octomom.
Did she really? What a disgusting human being she is. The girls
Got to feed these 13 kids.
the girls that are working for her, they all were dressed like the greatest American hero. They were in like full
They had the
red
outfit.
leotards
Yep.
with some like
White.
weird symbol in the middle. I was like, William Catt was just wearing that last week on The Greatest American Hero. What's
Which,
going
by
on
the way,
here?
great show.
Oh, love
I
Greatest
loved
American
it.
Hero. The
I
first
met,
season
I met
especially.
William Catt at Chiller
Wow.
a few years
And
back.
that's Robert Culp. And then who was the girl?
Vince Principal, Victoria Principal.
Victoria Principal, yeah. Not Principal, Victoria. She's on South Park, yeah.
Victoria Principal, that's a nice pull. Come on,
That's
I gotta
good.
give you
That's
that
good.
one.
That's good. Very good.
Something over
Let
here.
him go to a soundboard, change sides, go to the other
All that-
button.
it'll be
click,
edited out,
click,
though.
Click.
So that should come out right after I said what I said.
Oh, and the red outfits. They were all like Amazon women, except Midge, who was like 4.5 feet tall.
She was very tiny.
Yeah.
None of this matters, but when he had that like set of pens with him, the one with the acid pen, but like he got knocked out, brought to this place, dressed in like pajamas, except they let him keep his watch for some reason. And I guess they let him keep his pen too, because he used that acid pen to escape later on. I was like, how do you keep that pen? They didn't frisk him. Maybe he stuck it up his bum and like he pulled it out. But I thought that was really weird that they left him armed.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait, why didn't they lock him up?
Well, like, it was almost like they wanted him to escape. It
Yeah.
seemed like they were itching.
They
for
had to
him
know
get
they would
out.
at least try to,
Yeah.
right? You would think.
But I mean, the guard that's watching him snoring, and she even knew he was out. Midge.
she kind of like
Madge.
made, she kind of did Magda.
Mag.
She kind of did that look back where she was just like,
Yeah, she knew he was sneaking out.
he
so
was
it's
like spying on her when he went out. He was like all in her, looking in her room when he was
well, James Bond's a perv.
yeah, he's a whore.
He's a whore.
I don't have any more notes.
I said being Bond's
Do you?
being Bond's native man on the inside, like VJ was in this, is always a recipe for
bad
disaster.
job,
You're
yeah.
always getting killed, and in a brutal way. The guy in A View to a Kill gets strangled by Grace Jones in the car while he's driving through the car wash. And
Brian masturbated to that scene.
I love Grace Jones.
I had a feeling he
do
did.
you really?
Yeah.
Wow, man, she does nothing for me, man.
Bald women. I don't know what it
She's
was.
not bald. She had like a crew cut.
Yeah, it was like a box, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, like a flat top.
High top
flat
fade.
top, yeah.
High top fade.
Yeah, I don't think that did it. And Tanya Roberts was in that too, man. Much
Hey,
hotter.
what are you doing?
I like both of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
When James Bond gets broken down, or what happens? He gets knocked off the train, I guess, and he's trying to get back there, and he's like hitchhiking, and a bunch of kids like slow down, and he goes running towards them, and they speed up, and they're like, "I feel safe," blah, blah, blah. And he gives the Italian salute. He gives the old fuck you right here. I was like, look at James Bond, like flipping the people, not flipping them off.
I was
but,
like, how's he getting in that car? There was 6 people in there, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
That would have been
You
fun.
make a room.
That's what I'm saying.
He
it would've
rode
been
on
fun.
an airplane.
They
That's
were
what-
all
it would've been fun
They
if
were
he
all
got in
young
there.
girls. He would have been like very happy.
I don't know why they didn't pick him up.
That old couple did eating sausages while they were driving.
That reminded me of like something that out of like National Lampoon's European Vacation.
It felt like that when he got to the payphone and the lady's in there, and he's like kind of like knocking on it and she won't let him in. She keeps turning, which reminded me of Dumb and Dumber when the dude just like punched him through the fucking thing.
Yeah.
The guy from Seinfeld was on the phone. I'm on the phone. The one that couldn't remember Elaine's name.
Yeah, that's Fred Wolf.
Yes. Yeah. And so he punches him through. I thought he was going to punch her first and say he stole her car. And she's like, mein Auto. Those are the only German things I know. That and Auf Wiedersehen. Because they said it.
And
in
you know
this movie.
9.
I know 8 and 9. I'm just trying to zip through my notes and see if I'm forgetting any of my beautiful. Again, it doesn't matter when
Did you get anybody else's score or just you watch this?
I watched it by Michelle slept next to me while I watched it. I said to her, I'm like, I got to watch James Bond. You want to watch it with me? She's like, no, I'll just sit here. 2 seconds later, she was unconscious. I was like, why don't you go to bed? Like, why are you lying down here?
I did. That's why I had to put on James Bond.
When he's in that girl's car, the German girl's car, and he gets the tires shot out and he gets on the train tracks, which I don't know if that's physically possible.
No, the widths are different.
Okay, I would assume they would. A
There's
train
no way
would
the
be
tire,
much wider.
the way the tire would be
but-
off perfectly for that to get.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it would.
It was
But
a
then,
custom.
but so
job.
he's
Yeah.
following the train, and then the guy that switches the tracks guy, whatever his name is, what's that guy?
track switcher.
Is that his official title? Track
Track
switcher?
switcher operator, I think it is.
He switches the track, so he goes on the other track, knowing full well there's another train coming down,
Yeah.
going in that direction. He's like, I'm going to murder you right now and put you on the other track now. So instead of following this train, you'll go head on into the big ass engine that's coming that way. I was like, that dude set him up to be murdered. If James Bond wasn't in that car, anybody else would have
Did you like
died.
the
That's
fighting
true.
on the train, on top of the train. That's
Another Indiana Jones kind of thing. I mean, what's his face? River Phoenix did that in Last Crusade. Yeah. A lot of Indiana Jones DNA. Actually, a lot of James Bond DNA in Indiana Jones, but not good stuff. I'm sure, I mean, there's good stuff in Indiana Jones, but some of the things that happen in Indiana Jones movie where you're like, huh?
You're like, huh?
Came from James Bond movies. All the good stuff is maybe not original, but stuff I haven't seen in anything else, like the boulder rolling and stuff like that.
That probably got cut.
Cut. Oh, no, wait, don't cut.
Oh man, I don't have any more notes. Andy, you?
I don't believe I do.
And
I
did you
thought I had a
say
lot of
you don't
notes
have any more
too.
sounds, right?
No.
All right. Do we want to get into scores then?
We can.
Who's going to start?
I'll go last.
All right, I'll give mine.
All right.
I'm going to give it a 68.
Okay.
I did enjoy it. I don't remember enjoying it as much. You know, you have when I was 13, there was a side boob and front boob that I really enjoyed. So I think I built it up in my head. Now you can get porn on your phone.
Yeah.
So
You can? How do you do that? After this, can you show me how to do
Yeah,
that?
after we-
newpodcast.com.
What was that? Say again.
Spreaker.com.
We'll be dropped from them immediately now.
I don't remember this movie being as bad as it is. I thought I liked this movie, but I didn't like this movie. I give it a 40.
Wow.
I will never watch this movie again. I watched this movie a lot as a kid. I just don't remember it being this bad. But yeah, I give it a 40.
The side boob really jacked it up for me.
I'm surprised
for
you're
me,
great.
too.
I'm surprised you're nice. I'm surprised your grade's so high because I gave this a 70 and I thought I was giving it too high a score. So the fact that you're only 2 points behind me makes it seem really weird. I know your scoring system differs from the rest of the conventional world, but I'm kind of putting this up against other James Bond movies. There's James Bond movies that
I thought he would have
give-
been closer to me.
Yeah, I thought he would have been the lowest. But
Did you know I was coming in low?
when we were talking about it earlier today, I was like, Jason did not like this movie. I felt walking away. I was like, this is going to be a divisive movie. I was kind of.
I didn't hate it,
No,
but it's just
I kind of grade this against other James Bond movies, and there's other James Bond movies I would give like 90s to. Like there are great James Bond movies out there that I would watch right now.
Was it Moonraker?
Moonraker,
Great movie.
Casino Royale, Man with the Golden
And
Gun,
there probably is some that I'll
Russia
probably
with
give a much higher
Love,
score.
Goldfinger, like all great movies, like fun, great James Bond movies, and across the spectrum, Daniel Craig, Roger Moore, Sean Connery. This is not of that level. This is a lesser movie. The silliness of this was over. Like I don't think A View to a Kill is this silly. And that's later on. I kind of thought that Roger Moore got more ridiculous as he went along, but this is really ridiculous. And also, he looks really old in this.
He does, right?
Why
Christine made that comment.
Why is he hooking up with hot young blondes in this? I mean, I get he's James Bond, but he's not looking that good.
Yeah, he's just hanging on there.
And he's probably like my age.
I'm going to give the
no young blondes are hooking up with me either. So
the Rotten Tomatoes critics was 42.
Oh, wow.
Audience was 47.
Wow, man.
So I'm right there with the audience.
I
and
thought
the
I remember
critics.
this movie being kind of popular back in the day. So I don't know. I guess things have changed over the last 40 years, but I would have thought this was one of the more popular James Bond movies.
Maybe just the name stuck in our head.
Maybe. I mean, and I saw this in the theater, so I kind of had some kind of nostalgia to it and stuff like that. I think this is the first James Bond movie I saw in the theater.
What are we doing next week?
Well, I was reaching out to Anthony about Return of the Jedi, but I think I want to do it. I think we should do Jedi when he's here with us.
I think it'll be cool when he's
because
here.
it'll be better that way. I think the next movie because we're also kind of punting, trading places. I think still.
Yeah.
I think Superman 3 is the next movie on the list.
Yeah, Superman
Is it
3,
Superman
then
3?
Porky's
Okay.
2, and then Stroker Ace.
Okay.
Then War Games.
Nice.
Your buddy's coming on for War
Yeah,
Games,
he still
right?
wants to come on.
All right,
Good.
so
Yeah. If any of our fans out there want to be on for Superman 3, reach out to Papa Bad Kitty and we will get you on.
or
you
you
go.
can
Kevin
you can reach out
or
to
Dana.
reach out to me.
Oh, yeah, you can reach out to him, but no one wants to reach out to you. I have people reaching out to me. Yeah, so Superman 3 next week, huh? That's the Richard Pryor one.
Let me check to see if it's available.
And Robert Vaughn and Richard Pryor. It's probably on HBO, right? Superman?
I'm checking.
I would
it out.
hope that it's on HBO. They own him. But then Amazon owned James Bond. And
Superman 3 is streaming on HBO Max.
All right, good.
It's
Thank
$2.99 on Apple TV.
I won't get rid of it yet then.
Yeah, don't get rid of it.
I mean, just because they're changing. Listen, I hate
I hate
HBO too.
David
I
Asshat,
hate
the
all the shit they're
president
doing,
of
man.
Warner.
I get it too. They need to be punished for their stupidity, but
I wanna
unfortunately, they got a lot of good shit on there too. So
I want to ask your son Logan to come on for vacation.
oh,
Michelle said to ask him for that.
he would love to
I
be
think
on
he
there
should come
for
on for that one.
Wait, which son, Logan or Danny?
Logan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm going to have Daniel on for because Daniel's not like Logan as far as movies go. Like Daniel probably hasn't seen.
Well, then he'll be watching it for the first time.
Yeah,
kind of thing
yeah.
like
It's
that.
almost like you want to get someone that's seen it before or has some kind of connection to it. I don't
Well,
know.
let him look through the list, see if
Yeah.
there's anything that catches his
I'll make him
eye
come
or
on for
whatever, yeah.
something. I said, you come back to live in my house at 22 years old and not paying rent and not making a car payment. You got to do the podcast once in a while. That's all I ask.
That's all we ask. Yeah, we're not.
And maybe help your mother do the dishes here and there because I'm tired of fucking helping her.
Okay, so then it's
Is that it? Ba-dum-bum.
Superman 3 for
Superman
next
3.
week. And this has been a Spreaker-filled podcast. And you can find us there and everywhere else you get podcasts. Download, rate, subscribe, review. Message us on an exciting and new podcast or our own handles. We're going to say those to you in a few seconds if you just hold on. I'm going to get there. Said I'll get there.
And
I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm just getting really crazy right now.
That'll keep you in curry for
But-
a while.
Superman 3 next week. And who's coming on? Message us. It's the Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. I'm Jason. It's been the exciting and new podcast. Who are you?
Honestly, if you want to hear yourself talk, it's quite fun listening to yourself back. So message us. AE Gonzo1 on Twitter, AE Gonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
Say something else.
Something else.